Hello and welcome to Hoursin. Apologies for the lack of videos the last couple of weeks. I've been a little busy with some automotive stuff. I do have footage for Bear and Breakfast recorded, but I may have to return to that video during a slow week. Anyway, this time we're playing the collectible market and just barely treading water above bankruptcy in Kardboard Kings. Developed by Henry's House and published by Akupara Games. As always, more information about Kardboard Kings can be found in the description. As you may have guessed while looking at the footage, Kardboard Kings is essentially a sort of card-themed, stripped-down management simulator. We play as Harry, the owner of a local card shop that was bequeathed to him following the passing of Harry's father George, who was the store's previous owner. Obviously, the object of the game is to make money while maintaining a good reputation amongst the locals who patronize our business. And we do that by analyzing trends and prices, then strategically buying, selling, and trading the most popular card game in the world, Warlock. I'll circle back around to the cards themselves in a little bit, but let's just take a look at our day-to-day first and get up and running. When we start our first in-game day, all 6 of our card displays will be empty, and under the guidance of Giuseppe, our talking bird sidekick / co-owner, we'll be instructed to check the news, order more cards from the internet, and place some cards up for sale. The news lives in a tab on the very right of our screen and updates every day. The news is our source of data that allows us to predict market trends. For example, the news may tell you something like, green cards to be condemned for satanic implications, 3 days, with a green arrow pointing upward beside it. Of course, this means that in 3 in-game days, green Warlock cards are going to become scarce and thus more valuable, which obviously translates to buy more green cards now and hold off selling them for 3 days in order to achieve maximum profit. Our card inventory can be found at the left of the screen. We can sort them by rarity, color, etc. Hovering over a given card shows its current value as well as how much we paid for it. Left-clicking a card in our inventory will show a graph of the card's price over time. To place a card from our inventory on sale, we either drag it to one of our 6 open display slots or right-click it in our inventory to automatically send it to the first empty slot. When a customer wants to buy a card that we have on display, they'll bring it up to the counter, and we merely click the card hovering above their head to cash them out. Every now and again, customers will make offers on cards that we don't have on display, or ask our opinions on deck types, etc. Doing well in these interactions increases our reputation, which increases the amount of customers we get each day. In addition to customers in-store, sometimes people will call in with general requests. Click the ringing phone to grab the request and check it through the request panel on the right. The panel will tell you what the customer is looking for, what they're paying, and how long you have to do it. A typical request might be a purple card, $7.50. This means the customer will accept any purple card regardless of anything else, and they will pay $7.50. Now, you might be tempted to offload your crappy cards through these requests, but just know that doing so lowers your reputation. Inversely, if you exceed the customer's expectations, you'll raise your reputation. It's up to you to decide whether to take a financial hit here and there to raise your rep. To fill a request with a card from your inventory, just drag it onto the order you want to fill. A green check mark will appear if the card that you've chosen is applicable for that request, and a red X if not. If we want to order more or specific cards, we can do that using the computer. Every day, a rotating selection of websites will have a different inventory. Each online store has a specialty, like All That Glitters only sells shinies, Damaged sells non-mint condition cards cheaply, Newegg Boosters sells packs of cards, etc. Just keep in mind a few things. 1. It takes a day for anything you buy online to arrive in the mail, and sometimes a customer or 3 will come into the store before the postal carrier delivers your mail in the morning. 2. Since both the available eShops and their inventory rotate, you may not always be able to get whatever it is that you're looking for in a timely manner. And 3, if you're planning to order more than one thing, place one large order rather than multiple small ones, since you get a bulk discount that increases as your cart gets bigger. So that's the basics of the day-to-day. We check the news, adjust our inventory accordingly, which means selling off things that will decrease in value and buying and saving things that will increase, etc. Talk to the customers, answer the phone for new requests, cash the customers out. There's some other things that we'll come up to, like changing the decor of the store, meeting certain goals and challenges, applying special tags to cards that do things like draw in customers, lower the price but raise reputation, etc. But I'm not going to go into every single mechanic, since the game's main story is quite short and we already have enough to cover. Something I will get into though, the Warlock cards themselves. Fair warning, this next section is a little bit wordy, so feel free to skip to the next chapter of the video if you don't need to know the nitty-gritty. I will include a small segment at the start of the next chapter that summarizes the parts that I had the most trouble understanding. Without further ado, here is what you as a card shop owner should know about Warlock cards. Warlock cards have several attributes: color, power level, ability, condition, rarity, and set. The color is, of course, the card's color. Cards can be purple, blue, green, yellow, or black. The power level is displayed in the bottom left corner as Roman numerals. I believe the highest I've seen is X, meaning 10, but there could maybe be higher and I just haven't run into any. A card's ability can be determined by a symbol in the bottom right-hand corner. Beauty, brain, or brawn are the options, and the symbols are self-explanatory. In the actual card game, the symbols work as a sort of rock, paper, scissors mechanic, but we'll expand on that more later on. Like in real life, condition refers to what kind of condition the card itself is in. At first, I actually had a bit of a hard time telling between the conditions of cards, since it doesn't actually seem to be displayed anywhere like the other metrics. But I think I have a rough understanding now. Unlike real life, there are only 2 options when it comes to the condition of Warlock cards, I think. Gloved 40-year-old collector mint condition, or little brother on the schoolyard destroyed. Of course, the not-so-mint condition cards are generally worth less money and appear all scratched up when you look at them, while the mint cards look pristine. As I say, I don't actually know this to be 100% fact, and info on Kardboard Kings seems a little hard to find online, or at least I couldn't find much of it. So I ended up just treating any card that didn't have any visible scratches as mint, and any scratched up card as not mint. As I say, I could be wrong about that, and please correct me in the comments if that is the case. In addition to condition, cards also have a rarity level. This is another aspect that I didn't quite understand at first. At first I thought it kind of worked like real life, in that when a card is shiny or holographic, it's considered rare. But as I played more and used the sort functions in the inventory, I started to believe that this is not the case. Yes, shiny versions of cards seem to be worth more than their non-shiny counterparts, but shininess does not equal rarity. The actual indicator of a card's rarity seems to live in between the power level numeral and the ability pictogram. Common cards will have nothing. Uncommon cards will have what looks like a thin line with a V-shaped dip in the center, and rare cards will have a much thicker line with a diamond in the center. From the small amount of information I could find online, it looks like each in-game card set has 12 cards total, with 7 being common, 4 being uncommon, and 1 being rare. This also serves as a good segue into the final attribute a card can have: set. As I mentioned before, cards are released within the world of the game in groups of 12 called sets. Each set has a unique name and a letter associated with it. As you progress through the game, more cards and sets are released. At first glance, things like what set a given card comes from or what attribute a card has might not seem very important. However, any of these factors can influence a card's price on a given day, and in order to make smart investments and turn a profit reliably, we need to keep these things in the back of our head. For those who skipped the last chapter, there's only 2 card conditions, mint and non-mint or damaged. Shiny does not equal rarity. Common cards have no line or V near the bottom. Uncommon have a thin line and V, and rare have a thick line and a diamond in the middle. Overall, I've really enjoyed what I've played of Kardboard Kings so far. I was really happy to see this one go free on Epic, since it was just recommended to me in my Steam queue recently. The shop management segments are pretty chill, the music's good, and I like the card's artwork. It's not perfect though. The days can sort of feel a little samey sometimes, and as I said before, the main story was surprisingly short. I was sort of shocked when I first saw those credits roll. It just felt kind of like the ending came out of nowhere. To the point where I actually had to head to the internet to see if that was the actual end of the game. Now, spoiler alert, you may be wondering why I've been making a point to say main story this, what you need as a card shop owner that. Well, while that is the end of the main story, to quote the devs, it is not the end of all stories. In fact, after you see those credits, you'll also see that 2 new things have been unlocked. King of Games mode, which is a sort of hard mode difficulty challenge that you can turn on. But what interested me personally was Card Battle Island, and it's exactly what it sounds like. We finally get to play the game that we've been buying and selling this whole time, Warlock. First, however, we have to actually get to Card Battle Island. Believe it or not, I also had trouble figuring this part out. I could see where to turn on the King of Games mode in the menus, but there was no button to start the CBI campaign. The answer was found on the game's store page. You actually have to buy a ticket to the island from inside of the main game. The tickets go on sale on Mondays only and can be purchased through the computer. Once we have our ticket, we get a shot at the island. I say a shot at the island because if, like me, you read the store page, it refers to CBI as being a roguelite deck building mode. AKA, if you lose, other than on the very first game the very first time, you get flown back to the shop and have to wait until next Monday to start the whole island over again with a new deck. The rules of the actual card game battles are actually quite interesting. It reminds me of a simplified Yu-Gi-Oh! With a bit of Duel Masters thrown in. For those who didn't play in Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional tournaments from 2004 to 2006 like I did, basically, we have 2 zones on our side of the field. One where we place cards face up that we want to attack with, called creatures, and another for our back row that we place face down to be used as support in the event that one of our creatures needs help. Battles are determined using 2 temporary advantage points. The first point is simple. It's based on which creature of the 2 battling creatures has a higher power level. And the second is based on each creature's attribute, that little rock, paper, scissors game I mentioned earlier. Brain beats brawn, brawn beats beauty, and beauty beats brain. Keep in mind that you'll need both advantage points to actually win a battle, as if each creature has 1, it will result in a draw. After someone wins a battle, the weaker creature is destroyed, and the owner of the stronger creature gains points equal to the weaker creature's power level. But what are the support creatures for, and how does color play into all this? Support creatures, the ones you play face down in the back row, can be used to help other creatures of the same color. If you have a yellow creature in a battle that's about to lose, you can summon another yellow support creature to aid in the fight. When you do this, you're given the choice of either adding the support creature's power to the battling creatures, or changing the battling creature's ability to that of the support creature. Keep in mind that both you and your opponent can do this as many times as you like, provided you have enough creatures of the same color in the back row to use. After the battle, win or lose, any support creatures used are destroyed. At the end of each turn, the turn player draws 1 card plus an additional card for each different colored creature they have face up. Win the match by being the first player to reach a set number of points. So far I've seen 20 and 25. It sounds a little complicated when I explain it like that, but once you actually play it, it's quite simple. If you ever need to check the rules, there's a large question mark button you can press that'll give you 7 slides that explain it to you. As you win matches, you move forward through the island and can pick which path you would like to go. Some paths lead to stores where you can buy cards for your deck, and some battlefields provide certain ability types with an advantage. I have not been able to get very far on the island just yet, but I'll keep pinging away at it and change the script accordingly if I do. I did not get any further. Anyway, on the whole, I did enjoy the hours I put into Kardboard Kings. The card art was good, as I said, the music was good, as I said, and it was a fun little experience. Would I pay the full retail price for it based on what I've seen so far, though? Probably not. But if it was on sale for maybe $5 to $10, I think I would. I definitely recommend it if you got it for free on Epic, though, especially if you've ever been into card games in real life. That's all for now. You've been watching Hours In. What did you think of Kardboard Kings? Did you get it free on Epic? Is the normal retail price too expensive? Are you a former or current TCG player? As always, feel free to let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.